The X-Zone radio and TV show is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone radio and TV show or in any manner endorsed by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, TalkStar Radio Network, its affiliated stations, or employees.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
I love the colorful clothes she wears and the way the sunlight plays upon her hair. I hear the sound of a gentle word on the wind that lifts her perfume through the air. I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me the excitations. I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me the excitations. I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me
Welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. My name's Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. 1-800-610-7035. Worldwide toll-free. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com. And our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. One of the words that we keep hearing about is a disease known as Meniere's disease. Seems that there are people that have this disease, and the hard part is that traditional Western medicine does not have a cure for it. So where do people go looking for cures to these diseases, these syndromes that doctors who spend years and years and years in universities, then years and years and years in practice, have no cure for? I went on the internet the other day looking for some answers, and I came across a very interesting site. The name of the gentleman who is responsible for the site is Robert GINSBURG, and the website is www.thenewknowledge.com. And joining me now from Oxford in the United Kingdom is Robert GINSBURG. And Robert, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you.
Robert, where did your interest in Meniere's come from?
Well, I can't say I had a specific interest in the Meniere's disease. It's just that I'm a healer. I work with all kinds of health problems. I've got contacted by people who have Meniere's disease, and I'm able to heal it. So,
now I've gone to your website. I looked it over. It's and you've got a lot of videos there. How come you can heal it as a new age healer, for lack of better words, where traditional medical doctors can't?
Well, I think the place to start with that is that one, I've been trained for over 15 years by an extraordinary Russian physicist who he calls his system the new knowledge, and the training with him enables me to scan the body with my mind. And when I scan the body with my mind, I'm able to feel disturbances in the subtle energy of the cells of the body. I mean, quantum physics tells us that what we really are at the deepest level is subtle energy.
Right.
Okay, so I can scan that, and I can feel the subtle energy. I know where there's a disturbance in the system, okay?
Yeah.
And then once I know where the disturbance is, I use my thoughts to eliminate that disturbance. When the disturbance is eliminated in the subtle energy of the body, healing results secondarily to that on the physical level. It's a side effect, if you will, of the physical level. So what I do when somebody has Meniere's disease and really it's the same for any other disease. You have to look at the whole system, and I think that's where medicine is off.
All right, why don't we do this?
They don't look at the whole system.
All right, you and I have to take a commercial break. Please stand by. X-Zone Nation, Robert GINSBURG is our special guest. We're talking about Meniere's disease and natural healing techniques here this hour of the X-Zone. Robert's website is www.thenewknowledge.com. That's www.thenewknowledge.com. And Robert and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break as we continue live from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, here in the X-Zone. Once again, our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com, and Robert's website, www.thenewknowledge.com. We'll be back talking about Meniere's disease on the other side of this commercial break. And still, I'd like to thank the people at Boxy Box for putting the X-Zone Radio Show on their new box. And I'll tell you something, it's quite a little thing. You just plug it into your TV. You don't need your television converter. You can watch Netflix, you can watch TV, and of course you can listen to the X-Zone. I'll be back. Whatever you do, don't go away. And if you do, get right back.
I'm being interviewed now on the radio, so
With each new extreme weather event or terrorist act, it becomes increasingly obvious that we live in uncertain and challenging times. We all buy car insurance. Why not collapse and catastrophe insurance? Matthew Stein, an MIT-trained engineer and green builder, has written 2 outstanding books to help people prepare, plan for, and deal with everything from minor situations lasting a few days to full-on collapse. Matt's first book, When Technology Fails, is a manual for self-reliance, sustainable living, and surviving the long emergency. This massive book covers the gamut from first aid and emergency preparedness to alternative healing, renewable energy, primitive living skills, and 18th century technologies that could be critical to your comfort and survival in a long-lasting crisis. Matt's second book, When Disaster Strikes, is a comprehensive emergency preparedness handbook and survival guide. When Disaster Strikes is an essential item for every family's go bag. Both books are available at all usual sources. There's a wealth of totally free information posted at whentechfails.com, and author-signed copies may be purchased at mattstein.com. That's www.whentechfails.com and www.mattstein.com. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, Elizabeth Joyce is now giving readings worldwide via Skype. Elizabeth Joyce is recognized for her clairvoyant ability to help find missing persons, her analysis of dreams, past life regression work, mediumship, and her accurate predictions. Elizabeth has been a frequent guest on the X-Zone Radio Show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, now for several years. For an appointment with Elizabeth Joyce, call 201-934-8986 or Skype at elizabeth.joyce. And for more information, you can always visit Elizabeth Joyce online at www.new-visions.com.
Do you have a dis-ease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, aguidinglight, spelled LITE.com, to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
Joanna, I'm being interviewed right now.
There is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plan, a time to read, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to be, to everything.
Robert Ginsburg is our special guest on Explanation. I'd like to let you know that before becoming a natural healer, Robert was an attorney or a lawyer in the eastern part of the United States, and he then moved across the country to the state of California. And Robert, what was it like for you personally, changing from being a lawyer and going into natural healing?
Liberating.
How so?
Well, I the law is a very difficult field. It's very competitive, and it's adversarial. I was a trial attorney, and of course now I'm doing something that's not adversarial at all. So I'm free to really be who I really am.
What was it, Robert, that made you want to become a healer?
It wasn't anything specific. What happened here, I had practiced law for a lot of years. I was at the end of, I felt it was time to make a change, and I started looking around for something else to do with my life, and somebody invited me to attend a lecture by a healer. I went. I saw what this person was doing. I started to do some of the same techniques on my family, and I found I could help people. And I started studying it, and many systems, and eventually it became a passion. I took my shingle down, and here I am today.
How does distant healing work? How are you able to heal people anywhere in the world?
Yeah, I think the way to start with that is, what is thought?
Okay.
And thought is not amorphous. Thought is a substance. It's real. It influences. Scientists at Princeton University conducted a series of experiments over a period of years, and they took people who didn't have any special training, and they found these people's thoughts could affect a random event generator. In other words, a machine. They found human thought could affect a machine. So I think there you are. Thought's a subtle energy, and it can influence the subtle energy of the body.
Gotcha.
So you can send your thoughts anywhere in the world. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, I work every single day with people all over the world.
All right. Menaires, as I was saying when we did the intro, seems to be becoming more and more popular. People who have Menaires are very sick. They suffer from vertigo, dizziness, loss of hearing, depression.
Yes.
And traditional medicine is saying, you know what? You're sorry out of luck. There's no cure.
That's right.
And then I go to your website and you say, hey, I can cure it.
Yes. Now you want to know how.
Exactly.
Well, here's the way what I do, like I said earlier, is you have to look at the whole system. So when you look at hearing and how hearing works, sound comes in from the outside. It hits the external eardrum. Attached to that eardrum, there's 3 little bones, and those little bones are attached to, if you will, another eardrum, an inner eardrum. So when the outer eardrum moves, the inner eardrum moves, because they're attached by those bones. When the inner eardrum moves, it moves fluid, which is in the cochlea, the organ of hearing. When the fluid moves, it stimulates hair cells, which are at the end of the cells, and that produces the nerve signal that goes to the brain that produces hearing. So there has to be a problem somewhere in the loop. Okay. Now, as I said, my system enables me to scan, and what I can do, and I've been, like I said, I've been trained for over 15 years, Rob. I mean, it's very extensive training.
Right.
So what I do when I scan the hearing system of somebody, I'll feel a disturbance. My fingers will vibrate when I get to an area where the problem is. Okay?
Right.
Now, my experience has been in Meniere's disease, every case I have seen, the problem is coming from the fluid in the inner ear of the cochlea.
Right.
It's where I feel a disturbance. And what this usually is infections get into the bacteria or virus, get into the inner ear. They live in that fluid, which is a perfect environment for them. Okay? It's moist and it has nutrients. And then over the years, they give off their metabolic wastes. Okay? Over time, the fluid becomes too viscous, too thick from all the deposits. When the fluid becomes thick, it doesn't stimulate, it doesn't work the same way. The hearing is blocked. And it also stimulates the hair cells all the time. And that's what produces the tinnitus, the constant stimulation of the hair cells. Okay. What I do with my mind, my thoughts, I'm going to simplify here a bit. I just visualize how this person's fluid would be if it was perfect. Okay? And I send that thought to the person. Make this fluid perfect. And what happens, the body by itself will bring in more blood into the area where the fluid is to make it less viscous. And then it will drain out through the lymphatic system. And over time, all that fluid, the thick fluid, will drain out. It'll be replaced by new fluid, and the hearing will return to normal. That's the way it works.
If you can do this, why can't the doctors do this? Why can't they use some sort
of... Well, they're
of...
not trained. It's not something that's going to respond to medication. First of all, they don't have a system to really tell them what's going on at this time. Medical science hasn't evolved to the point that they can identify infections inside the inner ear fluid. They can't see it, and the only way they look for infections is they look in the blood, and it's just not precise enough. And then they have no way other than surgery to make the fluid less viscous, to drain it out. They don't know how to do this. Medicine hasn't evolved that far yet.
And of course, the only operating procedure that is available for people with Meniere's right now is the severing of the nerve in the ear, which causes total deafness in that ear.
It can, yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's non-reversible.
I don't know much. The woman on my website, it's an interesting case. This woman was 39 years old. She was a paralegal. She was diagnosed by a specialist with Meniere's disease. She had the usual symptoms that you talked about, hearing loss, dizziness, ringing. Doctor told her that there was no treatment, no cure. She was going to have to live with this the rest of her life. Well, Meniere's disease is a terrible intrusion in people's lives. It's horrible. It's a horrible disease. And so eventually she contacted me, and I worked on her, and her hearing was returned to normal. No symptoms at all. And the same thing I just told you, what I did, I scan, I feel the disturbance in the subtle energy of the body, the core of what we are. I remove that disturbance, and secondary to that is healing of the physical level. And I do all this without physical contact. There's no physical contact with this work. There's no products.
How long does it take for you to, in the case of the paralegal, how long did it take for you to
Her case
cure her?
was not too, her case took about 3 months, I think, 2 to 3 months.
And how soon do people that you treat feel the results of the sessions that they have with you?
A lot depends, Rob, on their own sensitivity. Now, one of the things with Meniere's disease is that there's no nerve there. There's no pain being relieved. It's something different. So it generally could take a little while for people to feel a change. I've had clients who feel at the first session.
Wow.
I've had other clients that take 6 or 7 sessions.
Have you ever had a client where it doesn't work?
I've never had. I've had people who haven't been able to heal. Yes, but I don't know if it's ever happened with Meniere's disease. It probably has. There's a question of sensitivity.
Yeah.
And there's also a question of people.
I would imagine people would have to believe in the method that you're using as well as believe in you, and if this technique is going to work or not.
Well, it can be a factor. The reality is the person's belief system is not really relevant in terms of getting ultimately healed, because the work works at the fundamental core level of a person. So it doesn't really matter what they believe. The problem will be if they don't believe, they're going to block the perception. It's going to be, it's going to be something, because it's different and it's new work, and certain people are not ready for it, and it could disturb their belief systems. And I ought to mention, that 2 world-class medical school professors, one considered number 1 in the world in his field, who teaches at 2 prestigious medical schools. I work with them and members of their family, and the doctors got extremely interested in what I was doing. One spent many days with me, and anyhow, they both studied the scientific basis and effectiveness of this work, and they concluded this form of energy healing is the medicine of the future.
Wow.
Yeah, because it can locate the cause,
Robert,
which is something, and eliminate it.
So, is it proper to say that Meniere's is caused by a viral infection?
No, not in every case. It's every case could be different. It's probably not a virus. Usually it's a bacteria that gets into the fluid. The thing is, the fluid becomes too thick.
Right. Gotcha.
And the usual cause of that would be an infection. But I don't diagnose an infection. Sure. I just see the fluid is thick.
Robert,
I feel a disturbance.
Robert, you and I have to go to a commercial break. Please stand by. We'll be back after the news. Exo Nation, Robert GINSBURG is our special guest. Very interesting man. www.thenewknowledge.com. That's www.thenewknowledge.com. We'll be back after this news break. Don't go away. Are you considering calling a psychic to read your situation? Then consider David Champion, a psychic medium for more than 20 years with thousands of readings under his belt. David Champion will make you feel comfortable. He has proven to be honest and accurate. He's a straight shooter. There's no guesswork. What he sees is what you get. While he is a medium, most of the calls focus on relationships, not only love, but work, school, neighbors, and more. Need help with finding a job and preparing for the interview? Are you dealing with people who are obstacles in your path? For more information, go to davidchampion.com, $1.50 per minute paid by credit card with a minimum of 30 minutes. For your reading with David Champion, call 1-877-702-8598. That's 1-877-702-8598. Now you can dial in to listen to the X-Zone Radio Show from anywhere in the world with Rob McConnell 24/7, 365 by dialing 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080. If you have a mobile phone or landline, the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is now at your beck and call at 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080, 24/7, 365. You're listening to the X-Zone Radio Show, live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network, X-Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio, Euro High Definition Radio, and Star Cable. Our toll-free telephone number worldwide is 1-800-610-7035. Our email address, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. Welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. Robert Ginsburg is my special guest this hour. His website is www.thenewknowledge.com. And Robert, thanks very much for joining us this hour in the X-Zone.
You're welcome, Rob.
The first hour we were talking about Meniere's disease, and it is quite a disease that just causes havoc on the life of not only the person that has it, but also the family, their loved ones. It affects their work. It affects their quality of living. But
yes.
But what you do is not just limited to Meniere's.
No. I work with pretty much every disease there is.
Do you see?
My world is not. It's very different than what the traditional training. I'm looking for energetic disturbances in the fundamental makeup of the cells, of the atoms of the body. So what label the world calls a disease, to me, doesn't matter. I just look to eliminate the disturbance. And once that disturbance is eliminated, as a byproduct, if you will, as a side effect, there's healing on the physical level. I work with many, many diseases. I work with a lot of people who have atrial fibrillation, heart problems, a lot of people with back problems. I work, I don't know how much time. One of the cases that I'm real proud of is I work with a 21-year-old American college student who went to Ghana on an exchange, contacted malaria, was placed in the hospital, malaria, got all kinds of infections, was rendered unconscious, airlifted to the States, 6 weeks in intensive care. The infections didn't respond to the antibiotics. They were resistant. Family was called in, told there's nothing we could do. Basically this boy was going to die in a week or two. The family contacted me. I worked on him using the exact same system. I was able to eliminate the infection, and about 2 weeks later, the doctors called the family in and said, we don't know how to explain it, but he's turned a corner. And his life is saved, and he has no symptoms today. And there's lots of examples. There's 50 or 60 testimonials on my website.
That is truly amazing. What does the age of the person make a difference in the final results of your sessions? No,
the age doesn't matter. Of course, if somebody's very elderly, it's more difficult. But I work with people in their 80s, 90s at times. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Or I work with infants too.
What's the hardest part about doing what you do?
The hardest part? The hardest part, putting aside the work itself, the hardest part is the way the world responds to information that is brand new. That's the hardest part. Like I said, I've been trained for over 15 years. My training was extremely detailed and intense. And believe me, much more than what a doctor goes through, or much more than what I went through as a lawyer to become an attorney. So, because one has to change yourself, you have to become, much more of a pure, giving person to do this work. And the hardest part of doing the actual work, it depends on the problem, because one of the things you do in this work is you regenerate new cells.
Mm-hmm.
Unheard of, but that's what it does. And it's very precise and detailed work at times.
So doing the work that you do, if you can regenerate cells, can you also reverse the aging process?
No.
No, eh?
No, I maybe that the aging has something to do with. I can't do that. Maybe my teacher could, but I'm not able to do that.
How about other diseases such as cancer, pancreatic cancer, leukemia?
I myself don't work with cancer. It's the only disease I don't work with.
Why is that?
It has the work I do when I work with people, when I go to remove the energetic disturbances.
Right.
I have to establish a resonance. I have to get on the exact same energetic wavelength, if you will, of the person I'm working on. And with this system, and with this system only, the cancer can become contagious.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. The energetic aspect of the cancer disease can become contagious to the healer.
Oh,
not in any other system that I know of, but just with this particular work.
So how do you protect yourself from getting other diseases that you work with, or is the cancer the only one where this actually happens?
Cancer's the only one, but where it's serious. But what I do is I have a shield around myself, a protective device, and I ward off things that are negative for me.
What are some of your, for a lack of better words, most successful cases that you've worked on? Okay.
Well, of course, I told you about the boy whose life was saved, the woman who had Meniere's disease. I work with people who have atrial fibrillation and who are scheduled to have a heart ablation, a procedure which the medical profession does to eliminate the ablation. They kill a nerve. And what I'm able to do is, I work with people who are scheduled for an ablation in a few days, and was able to help them avoid the ablation. I work with a woman who had 3 herniated cervical discs in her neck, and they were impinging on the spinal cord, and she was in agony, and the neurosurgeon had surgery was canceled. It was scheduled, I mean. That's a funny one. Surgery was scheduled, and I worked with her, and at the end of my work, they did a subsequent MRI, and they saw the discs were back in place, and they canceled the surgery. Another interesting case, I worked with a doctor in London, a world-famous psychiatrist, who woke up one day and he didn't have hearing in one of his ears, and it didn't respond to medication, the problem, and he contacted me, and I was able to restore the hearing to his ear.
Wow.
Yeah, I do this I'll tell you, Rob, I know this sounds, I don't mean it egotistically, I really don't, but I do this every single day. Every single day.
What kind of negativity do you get back from the established medical community, or do they at least acknowledge what you're doing is working?
No, I think they just ignore it. They think we'll go away. I told you there are these 2 medical school professors, and they're at the very top of their field.
Right.
The very, very top. So they're kind of immune from the criticism in their own field, and they felt they can just go ahead and endorse what I do because there's not going to be any repercussions. I think within the profession itself, I think they probably they would probably close ranks. This work does not use any drugs. There's no products.
Well, that works for me. I'd love to see Big Pharma be put out of business.
Well, I think they will be eventually. Like these medical school professors said, this is the medicine of the future. And it is. I don't have any question about that. The results are way beyond anything doctors could imagine. And it's new knowledge. And it's available to the world and ultimately will change things on our planet.
How hard is it for a normal layperson to learn to do what you do, and how long does it take?
Well, the thing is, at the present stage on Earth, where we are as individuals, the only way you can, when you work with Nikolai Levashov, when I worked with him, I mean, like I said, he's extraordinary. And his work has a way of increasing the consciousness of his students. And by consciousness, I mean your ability to sense and feel things, by the ability of me to feel these energetic disturbances. And he also increases the power of your mind, so my thoughts are more powerful. And, one of the things they say, we use 3 to 5% of our neurons, our brain, for conscious activity.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard that.
Sure have.
Yeah, well, why is that? It doesn't make any sense, does it, really? We don't use 3 to 5% of our kidneys. But anyhow, Levashov's training has a way of expanding the use of the brain, the neurons of the brain. To my knowledge, he's the only person on Earth today that has the expertise to do that. So it's not readily available. It's something that the world's going to have to evolve to, and I think it will once his information is out. And children will grow up with this information, and they'll just naturally be able to do this work.
Is it a matter of belief, putting yourself into the right state of positive mind?
No, it's irrelevant.
Could you...
You mean for the healer or the person being healed?
The person being healed.
No, it's irrelevant. What I tell everybody I work with the first time before I go to work on them is just to sit back in their normal state of consciousness. You just be yourself. Don't try to help me in any way, and just receive what I do. And this is pure science, Rob. This is further along in the world of physics than quantum physics. Okay, it really is. So it works on a very, very, very basic level of a person. It's extremely subtle and gentle, and so all people have to do is just sit back and relax and receive.
Would this work on a person who does not know that you're actually performing this on?
Yes. I mean, I have done that, like the boy who I told you whose life was saved. He was unconscious. He had no idea I was working on him. He had no idea. It has nothing to do with the placebo effect. I mean, he had no idea I was working on him. I work with lots of young children, infants. I mean, they have no idea I'm working on them. The parents call me, and then and then I work on the child. The child doesn't know that I'm working on them.
All right, I'm just trying to. All right, so is there psychic phenomenon involved in this? Because is there remote viewing involved in this?
Well, yes, it would. You could call it remote viewing. It's a little bit different than what the world thinks remote viewing. What happens, Rob, when somebody calls me on a telephone?
Right.
From that telephone contact, there's a contact between me and the person, right? From that contact, I can bring a holographic image of them in front of me.
Okay.
And then I scan the image. So in a sense, it's not even remote viewing because I'm doing it right in front of me.
Interesting. What was it like? What was
the
it like?
Power of the mind.
What was it like the first time that you cured somebody? Who in a distance healing. What was it like? How did you feel?
I didn't believe it. I was amazed. I was absolutely amazed, and in fact, I remember asking my teacher, "Did this really happen? Was this person really healed?" And he said, "Yes, of course." Now I've done it. I've worked on thousands of people, so it's an everyday occurrence for me. But in the beginning, it was astonishing.
On your website, you have some very impressive testimonials. Has anyone ever asked you to come into a hospital and work on a case that the medical community could actually monitor how it works in hopes that they will try and duplicate what you're doing? Why not?
That's a good question. What do you think? I mean, I have never been approached. I'm not sure they're interested.
To me,
the medical. Another thing is, I'm not sure yet today. They're able to differentiate this work really from everything else in the world that's called alternative or complementary medicine. This is very, very different work. I mean, this is the essence of science. It's a major breakthrough for the planet. An MD, PhD studied this system, this work, and concluded it's the unified theory the world's been seeking forever. The unified theory.
So the answer's right in front of us. We just haven't been looking close enough.
Yeah, I haven't looked in the right way.
Yeah.
Not thinking it the right way. And I wish there was more openness.
Well, we're going to do some more talking on the other side of this break, Robert. Please stand by. www.thenewknowledge.com. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away. With each new extreme weather event or terrorist act, it becomes increasingly obvious that we live in uncertain and challenging times. We all buy car insurance. Why not collapse and catastrophe insurance? Matthew Stein, an MIT-trained engineer and green builder, has written 2 outstanding books to help people prepare, plan for, and deal with everything from minor situations lasting a few days to full-on collapse. Matt's first book, When Technology Fails, is a manual for self-reliance, sustainable living, and surviving the long emergency. This massive book covers the gamut from first aid and emergency preparedness to alternative healing, renewable energy, primitive living skills, and 18th century technologies that could be critical to your comfort and survival in a long-lasting crisis. Matt's second book, When Disaster Strikes, is a comprehensive emergency preparedness handbook and survival guide. When Disaster Strikes is an essential item for every family's go bag. Both books are available at all usual sources. There's a wealth of totally free information posted at whentechfails.com, and author-signed copies may be purchased at mattstein.com. That's www.whentechfails.com and www.mattstein.com. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com. Excellent Nation, Robert Ginsburg is our special guest. His website is www.thenewknowledge.com. First of all, Robert, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a very informative hour, and I do appreciate that. What would you like to leave the X-Zone Nation with? What would you like to share with them?
I think what I'd like to leave people with is this information. The guy Nikolai Levashov, the Russian physicist, calls it the new knowledge, and it is new knowledge. It offers incredible hope to humanity, and not only is going to be a new way to heal disease, without drugs, without surgery, and even from the comfort of your own home, people will be able to be healed. In the January 2000 edition of Prevention magazine, leading alternative medicine practitioners, physicians were asked their predictions for the future. And what they predicted is we would learn to use the power of the mind, not only to heal disease, but also to diagnose disease, find out the cause. So I think where we're heading is an understanding of the real human potential, the power of our minds, the power of our thoughts. I really think it's the secret to the universe that everybody's been looking for. So I think we're heading into, this is like the last hurrah, if you will, what's going on in the world today. I mean, I don't think anybody's satisfied with the practice of medicine. I don't think doctors are.
Right.
I mean, drugs are very, very limited. There's just so much you can do with them. There has to be another way. And that's what I hear from people all the time. There has to be another way. Well, there is. There's reason to hope for that, and there's reason to hope for the uplifting of human consciousness. Because I think when people on a global level understand the power of our minds, the power of our thoughts, it's going to change the whole consciousness of the planet. It's going to lead to a new age, literally.
Robert,
and I don't think this is pie in the sky, Rob.
No,
I really don't.
Neither do I. I see it and talk to people who experience this each and every day, and people look at December 21st, 2012 as a negative thing where the world is coming to an end. I think, if anything, the awareness that has brought about because of the 2012 bunk, people are looking and saying, hey, there is an alternative. There are other ways. And I also see that more and more people are looking to the past for the answers of today and the future.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been hoodwinked. Okay?
We have. Robert, we've got to say so long for now. I do appreciate you joining us.
Okay.
Thanks very much. Continued success, and we look forward to speaking to you the next time you join me here in the X-Zone. So until then, take care.
Thank you, Rob.
Bye now. Very interesting gentleman, Robert Ginsburg, www.thenewknowledge.com. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news as the X-Zone continues right here from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.